This year's new year, he's got a lot of new teammates, Harris Campbell, Darren Waller, some rookies, continue to evolve.
Just solely looking at it for Saquon in the running back state, this was not a good look for the running backs at large and even Saquon Barkley.
The New York Giants are coming off of a season in which they really turned a lot of heads, and whether you like this team or not, you have to give them credit for what they did. There was definitely so much that went on this offseason, from Daniel Jones signing a contract extension to all the running back drama that went on across the league that Saquon Barkley was of course a big part of. With training camp of course now here and the preseason getting started, there was just so much to talk about, so where do we even start? I guess it has to be with Daniel Jones because of that extension that I just mentioned, and he of course is one of the main guys that controls the destiny of this team at the most important position. Last season, Jones threw for over 3,200 yards with 15 touchdowns, and he only threw 5 interceptions, so just a really good all-around year. The thing that stood out to me the most is how he was able to answer the bell on big 3rd and 4th down plays, and he really just seemed in control of most of the games he played. According to the coaching staff, he's also a gym rat and is just somebody that sets a great example for the rest of the team. I know the Giants paid a pretty penny to keep this guy around for the long haul, and there was definitely fans that trashed on this move, but the reality is that it's hard to find a franchise QB in this league, and when you do, you gotta pay the price. And contracts are only gonna go up from here, so 2 years from now, his deal could even be an absolute steal. This year is definitely going to be challenging because the Giants do have a tough schedule, and the expectations are pretty much the same, but now that this roster has a little bit of experience together, I think they could really do some big things. Now, I know Daniel Jones is the guy that's at the front and center of everything for this team, but Saquon Barkley is the offense, and everything is run through him. I completely understand where the Giants were coming from and not wanting to give a bag to that position, because throughout the last decade of the NFL, there really hasn't been a good running back on any of the Super Bowl winning teams. But like I said, the offense literally ran through Barkley, and he was more than just a running back. And I think it would really hurt Jones psychologically to not have him there with him in the huddle. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think should have been done with Barkley, because he does have an injury history. Last season, Barkley put up over 1,300 yards with 10 touchdowns, and he averaged 4.4 yards a carry. So just based off looking at a stat sheet alone, you can tell how dominant he was. And that doesn't account for his blocking and all the other small things that he does. Now let's talk about some of the guys this team brought in over the offseason, because I haven't seen them being talked about enough. But before I begin, if you would like to see more content like this in the future, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 20,000 subscribers, and your support truly means the world. Alright, so starting off with Darren Waller, he missed over half of the season last year with the Raiders, but when he did play, he put up almost 400 receiving yards and averaged 14 yards per reception. I think this guy really fell out of the radar because of how much time he was off the field, and because of that, nobody is really talking about how big of a splash this move really was. Like, he is projected to be the best receiving option for Jones, and he isn't even a wide receiver. Even though the Giants did have a heck of a season last year and won a wildcard game, their regular season receiving leader was Darius Slayton with just 724 yards. So the front office knew that they had to do something this offseason, and I think Waller was the perfect addition, and it only cost them a 3rd round pick. One of the main reasons that so many experts have been overlooking this team is because they were kind of one-dimensional last season and really relied on Barkley to do almost everything. I still think that Jones needs to prove himself as an elite QB, but he's shown that he's good, and I don't think it's fair to judge him when, like I said, Darius Slayton was his number 1 option. So this is the season that we will see what he's made of. Getting back to the offseason additions, the Giants took Jalin Hyatt in the 3rd round out of Tennessee. I think this guy has a ton of upside, he's explosive, and has easy acceleration. He didn't do much in his preseason debut, but he also wasn't targeted, and in general, you just can't look for any meaning in the preseason. Last season at Tennessee, Hyatt had 67 catches with 1,267 yards, and he set a school record with 15 touchdowns. So you can just see what this guy is capable of just based off those numbers, and it's not like Tennessee had a cupcake schedule. They obviously are in the SEC and face some of the best talent in all of college football. The Giants also brought in James Robinson, who will add depth to the running back spot just in case Barkley does go down with an injury, and honestly, when they got him, they might have even had bigger plans for him because nobody knew what would end up happening with Saquon. There's almost too many moves for me to cover, so I'm sorry if I missed one that you really liked, and let me know in the comments below if that's the case. But ones I haven't talked about yet that I want to mention are Paris Campbell, their second round draft pick of JMS, Bobby Okereke, Deonte Banks, and the extension of Dexter Lawrence. I've heard way too many sports commentators say that all you have to do to game plan for the Giants this upcoming season is make them throw the ball. And although they are right in the sense that the running game is obviously better than the passing game, stopping Saquon is almost impossible, and all you can really do is maintain him. And since Barkley is so dominant, that leaves a lot of opportunity for that passing game, and as I've been talking about this whole video, I think some of the offseason additions are really going to help Daniel Jones shine because of this. And I probably should also talk a little bit about the defense before I end off this video, because last season, they weren't horrible, but there was a lot of room for improvement, and they of course made a few moves that I think will really help the unit a lot. I really think the second level is going to be a lot better, and it almost has to be because last season they were just cycling through players. One of the main arguments that can be made for why the defense did struggle last year was because of the inability of linebackers to fill holes, and they even had to move up the safeties from time to time to help with this, which then led to big plays every now and then. So it was no surprise when Bobby Okereke was brought in to add a veteran presence to that situation. And he graded better than every Giants linebacker last season by a long shot. One other thing the Giants did to improve their defense was adding depth to the line, because even though it was good enough over the last few seasons, nobody could ever get a breather, and it just wore guys like Lawrence and Williams down. But yeah, overall, I really think the Giants did everything they could this offseason to improve the areas they previously struggled in, and I think the field is going to be so much more open for Saquon Barkley, and since he's going to try to prove his worth to the NFL, I could easily see him rushing for 1,500 yards or even more. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about the Giants offseason and what new player you are most excited to watch. Also, drop your record predictions, and for me, I'm going to say 10-7 because they do have that super tough schedule, but I still believe in what they've built. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point in the video, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe because your support truly means the world. With the NFL season just weeks away, there is just so much to talk about, so stay tuned for tons of content in the future, and until then, I will see you all later.